Hey YouTube, doing something I normally don't do, which is a redo on a review, and didn't really mess up the first one. Some stuff has come to light since I've made it. The maker of this fine device, Dino Ferrari, has contacted me, letting me know I made a mistake. So let's do this again. Let's try take two this time, guys, because I feel like this device needs some attention and also needs to be recognized properly. So today we're going to be going over the Marquis RDA. I've had the review up for maybe 2 weeks, and the more I thought about what he said, the more I wanted to redo it. Okay, so what the Marquis is a rebuildable dripping atomizer. It is a high-end RDA, to say the least. The price point is a little higher than what most people can stomach. But you know what? I don't think it's high. I think it's great, and I think it's worth every penny. I also think the Veritas was worth $120. I think this is worth the $145. I really do. I do not mind paying it, and I know I'll get chastised for saying this, but dear God, I hope this thing doesn't get cloned, because the more I work in this industry, the more I get to know people, the more I don't like clones. And while I definitely see their value in a shop like where I work at Vape Parkway, it's great for transitioning people off of spinners and Nautilus tanks onto their first dripper, because there's no way we can convince people to spend $300-400 on their first dripping setup. There's just no way. Unless they're balling. Shot calling, 20-inch rims on the Impalin. But, you know what I'm saying. But, so clones have their place. They're just, I don't really like them. You're stealing from manufacturers, but I digress. Back to this guy. This is a very plain Jane looking RDA, which to some people will be a terrible thing, but for me it is perfect. Okay? I love how clean and simple it looks. It does have a slight M up on the top of the drip tip right there. I don't know if you can catch that. But you definitely can. And there you go, autofocus. But it is very, very similar in the Veritas design. And I actually like it a little bit better than the Veritas design. Got a single coil in right now, but you can definitely do dual coils with no problem. Part of the magic of this guy is the fact that you have building rods to make it easy. Part of the problem, I think, for a lot of people with the Veritas was how hard it was to build on. But this guy, not so much. Dino Ferrari and the other guys, it comes from two companies, Avid Vapor and Insignia Designs. Okay, so they come with these rods. Let me take them out and show you. So you've got 4 rods. Each rod has 2 sizes. So you pick the 2 that match, obviously, and you can actually stick these rods inside the juice well. They have little holes down at the bottom, so your coils will hold in place. So you can stick it like that, slide the coil down, tighten the leads. It'll keep it right in front of the airflow, and it's a great design. A great, great design. I think other addies should follow suit to this, especially Authentics, where you're paying a boatload of money. Vertical coils in a tight chamber like this would be a little tight for most people. It doesn't bother me. I was fine with the Veritas, but I could definitely see some people needing these rods. But if you're looking for a flavor addy, to me there's a handful of them that are really good. The Marquis is definitely at the top right now for drippers. I'm not talking about Jennies and all that stuff, but at least out of the ones I've tried, the Marquis is first, the Veritas is second, the Hobo is third, and maybe the SOV or the Odin would be next. But to me, you've got so many options with this guy. Single coil, dual coil, chimney coils, vertical coils, horizontal coils. You could do dragon coils. I mean, the possibilities are endless since they provide you with these rods. They definitely give you some extra parts aside from the rods. They give you this stock drip tip, which is insulated with a peak insulator here, and it actually unscrews. It's too juiced up, but this part here separates from the metal drip tip. So you can use your drip tip, or you can use the stock one, which I've been fine with. And the stock one, I wouldn't call it wide bore like chuff cap wide bore, but it's definitely wider bore than most RDAs. I have found one annoying issue with this RDA, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. It's not even a con because it's meant to be that way, but sometimes when you push this thing down, it doesn't want to sit flat, and it pops up on one side like that, as you can see. Not a big deal, but that is my one complaint with this thing, and it's hardly even worth complaining about. But this, by far, has the best flavor out of any dripper I have done. And so when I first made this video, I put it up, posted it, and I was contacted by Dino Ferrari. He let me know that I had made a mistake in my review, so that's why I'm redoing this. And the mistake was I said that the Veritas must have been the inspiration on the Marquis. Well, from what I've been told, the Marquis was actually designed first, and the Veritas just came out first. I guess Faceless, the maker of the Veritas, Dino Ferrari, they're all in a Facebook group. They're all showing each other designs and blueprints, and I guess Faceless contacted him and said, hey, I've got a similar design. I wanted to let you look at it, or something along like that, and got the okay, and so they're both out. But the Marquis came out second, the Veritas came out first, but the Marquis is definitely not stealing the thunder of the Veritas. They're different, but they're very similar in the same way. The airflow goes through the center block here, the reduced chamber block, if you will, which really helps focus the flavor and the airflow on a specific part of your coil, which I think is ingenious. All my favorite addies for flavor, they seem to have that. The Veritas, the Lancia, where you have a channel that directs the air through straight onto the coil. And yeah, I think that's what really gives it the solid flavor. You would think it's just for flavor, but it's not. You can actually use this thing kind of fully open without using the air going through the center block, and you can just have all three airflow holes right in front of the coil. And I'll do that now for you, just so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. But when you use it, it's not really intended this way, but you can definitely do it. So I've got all three airflow holes open. Normally these holes would be back over here on this side. But with dual coil, it'd be a little bit better like this. With single coil, it's going to be pretty airy, and the flavor is going to diminish. But the clouds, man, clouds, the clouds will be better, because that's all that matters, right, in the world of vaping right now, are fucking clouds. So let's take a cloud. It's still got good flavor. It's still, even like this, it's got better flavor than the Plume Veil. But if you turn this guy around and use it like it's supposed to be used, it is killer. And what you can also do is you can have one hole open, kind of not going through the block, and then one going through the block. So the airflow comes from two directions meeting right on the coil, which is a pretty ingenious design. I don't know if the makers of the Insignia or of the Marquis had that in mind, but it definitely works well like that. There's actually a thread right now in ECC about it, and I tried it, and I gotta say, man, the flavor is still kick-ass, even though you got two airflow holes open for a single coil. And the Marquis still got killer flavor like this, but if you really, really want some good flavor, run a single coil and just have one airflow hole open. And close that bitch off about 25-30%, or even 50%. This thing's really easy to adjust. The airflow, it's not hard, you don't fiddle with it. It's a great design. But you can get some nice negative pressure going in there to where you actually gotta kind of suck on it to get a good hit. And that's the type of draw that I like. That's the best for me, by far. and the flavor is similar to a Veritas, but it's denser, it's warmer. But I'm using it with nickel right now. I'm using it on my Vapor flask. God, I almost said Vapor Shark. Vapor flask, DNA 40. And this is a killer combo. I mean, it's a $500 setup, but it's worth every penny. And I really don't mind paying the $145 that the Marquis retails for. Comes in this cool little tennis can, but that also comes inside of a box. So they're well packaged. This Addy was spotless. There's a video on their Facebook page, Insignia Designs, where they're showing you how they wash them in basically a dishwasher and ultrasonic cleaner before they mail them out, so you don't have to wash the machine oil out or anything like that. It also comes with these drip tip adapters, so you can use your own drip tip in here and get an even more closed off draw. They've got a one that's a little elevated to where it'll poke up a little bit, and then you've got one that is pretty much flat, which I'm about to use in just a few minutes. Never used it, haven't seen the need, because this one's great. You can drip right through the hole, and it's got a deep juice well. It's 6 millimeters deep. I believe I've fit 3 milliliters of liquid in here with single coil, with it wicked properly. I don't cram the whole bottom with cotton. I just put it underneath where the coil is, giving you more space for juice. It hasn't been leaky. It will leak out these holes if you tip it forward the wrong way when it's full. But if you know how to use this thing and you know how to hold it properly, it'll never leak on you. It's supposed to be a leak-resistant dripper. I actually think the Veritas is just a hair better for a grab-and-go, toss around, not worry about it leaking. But this is pretty damn close. But this one's got the Veritas beat for flavor, by far. The top cap, like I showed you, it's got this, it's, I wouldn't say a sharp concave or conical design, but it definitely has a little bit of a conical shape up inside the top cap. You can see the peak insulator connected to the drip tip in there, so it'll stay nice and cool. I mean, the machining quality on this guy is top notch. I would rate it a 9.5 out of 10. Not one burr, not one scratch, nothing. Nothing, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just a great freaking dripper. I love the look. I love the flavor. I love the fact that it gives you options to do all these different style coils. Newbies, they'll be okay with this because of these rods that they provide you with. If they didn't give you these, they would be a bitch to build with, especially with nickel for newbies. But since you have this, it's pretty easy to build with. I don't see anyone having any problems with this. It actually makes it a lot of fun to build. I love the top connection where you trap the lead up here. It's just such a better design than the Veritas. Real similar negative connections to the Veritas, just differently placed. The Veritas, it's a damn good Addy, and I keep comparing that one to this one, but the more I use this, the more I like this more than the Veritas. A lot of people might think the Veritas looks a little better because this one's so clean and doesn't have any logoing or shaping on it, but to me, that's the way it should be. And I don't have a problem with that. Some people might not. I really just love the clean black flask with no logoing, and I also love the clean stainless on top of this one too. It's real simple yet classy is the best way to describe it. It's not a cloud chasing Addy, but it's definitely geared more towards flavor, but you can do some decent vapor production with it. I'm not going to say it's like the Doge or the Mutation X, because it's not. But it's 80% of the way there if you throw it in the right setting with the right build in here. And I still haven't tried a chimney build yet, but a chimney build would essentially be you putting the coil out sideways like that, coming straight out of the airflow, and then connecting the leads. It would be super easy to build like this because of these holes and how they snap in place. It's really an ingenious design. There's obviously been a lot of thought and innovation that have gone into this dripper, and it shows. And I think this will probably be my main all-day vape for quite some time until another design comes out that impresses me the way this one did. I saw pictures of this, and within a week of seeing it originally, I had to have it. I just kept pondering on it, and I finally found one here in Atlanta. I bought mine at Vaporious in Marietta, Georgia. I believe they have more. Jason Wells, the owner of the shop, you might be able to get in touch with him through Facebook or through Vaporious. I got a fairly low serial number. Mine is number 361. And I believe I have, yes, this is A. So it's the first run, number 361. So not a high serial number, but not a low one either. And I would definitely recommend it. A lot of Addies that cost over $100, I don't even give the time of day. I was fine with the Veritas being $120 because I thought it was so innovative and so different. And I kind of feel the same way about this one. And I know a lot of people are going to say $145, that's ridiculous. I'll just wait for the clone. Well, I haven't seen any clones of these guys yet, and hopefully it'll stay that way. I mean, I really do. I mean, I know that'll prevent a lot of people from rocking Marquis as their main vape devices, but you know, I really think I think I'm okay with the 145 on this one. It doesn't seem as extravagant as it would for something like a Plume Veil, where there's not a lot of new technology. They're just kind of combining other RDA options onto one. Well, this one is pretty much the most innovative one I've ever seen, especially if you take into consideration that this was before the Veritas. As far as liquid goes, like I said, I can fit about 3 mils of liquid in there. That's a good bit. I can vape for about 20-30 minutes without re-dripping, and that's if I'm cranking out the power. Right now I'm running at 36 watts at 450 degrees on a 0.17 ohm build, and to me that feels about like 60 watts on the Sigelli with a 3.3 ohm coil on there. But anyway, just thought I'd put out a new video and make corrections to the mistakes I had made before. Dino, I apologize. I should have researched the RDA before I started spreading the word a little more and at least found out that you weren't mimicking the Veritas, but that the Veritas was mimicking you. So I would definitely give the flavor probably a 9.5 out of 10. I'd give the build quality a 9.5 out of 10. I'd give the overall value probably an 8 out of 10. And the reason why is because it's going to be so out of reach for some vapors. Some vapors, their whole setup doesn't cost $145. So I definitely think this is going to be kind of for the vaping elitist type person who, you know, is into authentics and high-end RDAs. But, you know, don't let it scare you away. It's super easy to build on, and it's super flavorful. Holds a lot of liquid. It actually holds more liquid than a damn Atlantis tank does, which I think is ridiculous, but that's a good thing. So, with that being said, hope you enjoyed the info and got something useful out of this. Until then, see you guys later, YouTube.